To keep this moving, before we get to the lightning round, I want to talk to you a little bit about Miami, which I know you're not currently there. You're currently talking to us from New York City, but I know that you did spend some time in Miami, and you mentioned you were originally from San Francisco. So, just curious, what made you want to check out what's going on down here? What did you think when you were here?
Yeah, so we had made plans to come down to Miami even before it really started to gain traction as a startup hub. I've always loved Miami for the diversity and for the weather and the community. And so I thought it would be a great place to spend some of the colder months during COVID when there was really no reason to be in San Francisco or really any other city. And it was amazing to see as we were down there how the city really took off in terms of attracting amazing startup talent and investors. Um, I think on the positive side, Silicon Valley is and San Francisco are really more ideas, I think, than physical places. And Silicon Valley has now been uploaded to the cloud in the same way we think all work will be. And that means that people can live anywhere, including Miami. And so, now the ethos of Silicon Valley, the ability to start companies and collaborate, you can do from anywhere. And so I think the success of Miami is a great data point towards that trend that you can live in Miami and build a community in Miami and still be able to start and fund and scale companies. I think Miami is still at the very beginning of its trajectory, and I'm excited to see what happens over the next couple of years. I think there's a bunch of areas of technology that make sense in a place like Miami, like crypto. But I think that there are other subcultures like hardware engineering or biotech that are probably better located in other places. And I think um, that's how it should be. I think work and people should be distributed, and people should be able to live wherever they want to, regardless of where their company is headquartered. And again, I think Miami represents all these ideas. And more than that, it's a lovely place to live. The diversity of the city keeps it open to new ideas and new cultures, and I found it to be a real melting pot that kept me really stimulated, during and after work.
So you planning to come back, visit again?
Yeah, it's on our short list of places to move to permanently. We're here in New York, where I grew up, seeing how New York fits. But
I
I
grew
think
up in New York
yeah,
too. Yeah.
Miami is a super strong contender, and I think we were really pleasantly surprised, to be honest, with how livable the city was, and yeah, how dynamic and diverse it was. And so we will hopefully be back.
Love that. And just to kind of build on your point real quick before we get to the lightning round, I love. I mean, Phil Libin from I mean,
Hmm.
they just raised $100 million from SoftBank, and I was talking to him, I don't know, a couple weeks back, or a couple months ago actually. Um, but he's in Arkansas of all places. I mean, that's just where he's been hanging out during the pandemic. He doesn't know where he's going to end up next or if he's going to move again. But I think that just speaks to exactly what you're saying, that we live in a world now, and in large part because of the pandemic has really accelerated the fact that we have seen we can work from anywhere. Everything can be uploaded to the cloud. There's any city can technically really be a tech city, and I think that like you're talking about, that's where we need to kind of move to, as opposed to relying on just one or two major cities as hubs. There can be multiple cities that develop in a way that are beneficial. Yeah, for the future of work in general and for tech.
Yeah, and I think that's not just great for founders like me or investors, but also for regular professionals. And that now, wherever you are, you can get hired for the job of your dreams. And I imagine a world in the future where what's important is not where you went to college or where you lived or where you last worked, but really what you can do, as demonstrated by your work on the internet. And I think this aligns nicely with what we see happening with creators today. But I think eventually, everybody who works in companies, I think, takes a job to create and to build and to do stuff that matters. And what I see happening with the move to distributed work is that people are getting hired, not for what's on their resume, but for who they are and what they can do. And so I think this trend is great for everybody.
Agreed.